Mitch Moses, folks, is out of Origin 2 with a calf injury. Blues team performance manager Frank Panisi confirmed the news at the team's hotel in Lure up there in the Blue Mountains. He's been ruled out of State of Origin 2. He'll have scans and return to Parramatta. Jarome Luai has been drafted in as the direct replacement. Now, elsewhere, Brian To'o trained away from his teammates on Thursday this morning as he continues to battle hamstring soreness. We know that Jacob Kiraz, who likes Matty Burton, Brian,
yes,
he's come on standby. So, just with this, right, do you think... So, Matty Burton was the 18th man.
Yep.
Injury to Moses.
Yep.
And Matty Burton's not come in. Is that strange? Because what happens if what happens if Moses got injured in the game? Well, didn't you want Burton?
Yeah, but then Burton can cover other positions.
Right.
No, I think this is a no-brainer. It was the 5'8" in the last year's winning series.
I understand.
I just think, just whack him straight in.
Okay. So with that...
by the way, has that been confirmed? Luai's definitely started?
Yeah. Well, I believe so, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, correct. Wait, how much consultation with the champion halfback? Like, has he got that much status where they basically just say, who do you want?
Yep, for sure. Absolutely. I mean, he's not quite there where Joey levels is, but that was what Joey would do.
Yep.
I distinctly remember certain coaches saying to Joey before how the game plan, obviously the game plan, but who would play where.
Wow.
Joey is an immortal.
So they would be champion players like Joey, like Nathan now. Would they be consulted for team selection?
Yeah.
Yes.
Isaiah would too.
Yep.
Of course they would.
Oh, good. No, I don't know this game like you know it, Brian, when it comes to rep footy.
No, I don't get it. I never got asked. I just used to... No, but that Nathan, for sure, would have been consulted.
Yep, and he said, I want Romy back.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Yep, fair enough. We're wearing a couple of jerseys here that Brian's brought in over time. I've got the Canterbury Bankstown Bulldogs one, which they gave him. And, Brian, you're wearing the green and red.
So this is the 1984 Premiers. Winner Manly.
Yes.
Star-studded lineup. I think it was the King.
Yep.
Dishhead.
Yeah.
Turtle.
Gino. Was Kinescu Turtle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gino.
Yep. Miles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder if we could have, with AI.
Gary Belcher?
I don't know. I think Badge. No, I don't think Badge was.
I'll find out that.
Have a look at the team.
Yep.
Go to the team because I know you're very good at this. And let's do good. AI is obviously is with us. Let's put the teams up. 1984 winner Manly versus the 1984
Bulldogs.
Let's see what was. Go through that team for me.
Okay, that's good. Okay, we can do that. We can absolutely do that. So Wally Lewis, he was sort of plying his trade.
Not there, but we'll find it. We'll do it in the ad break.
Yep.
Because I know you want to get Laurie on.
Okay. Yep, we can do that for sure. It's not on here, in fact.
Brisbane.
Yeah, not only going back to 87, so no data before that, unfortunately. But we can look it up anyway. Not to say we can't find it. 1300 01 1170. Text 0457 736 736. What else is on that little left-hand side of the text board, Brian? Laurie, in fact, before we get to that, Laurie Daley has spoken about the inclusion of Jarome Luai. So let's do this.
He's won 4 grand finals and he won the Origin series last year. So I think everyone would have a lot of confidence and a lot of faith in him. I don't know Jarome that well, but I think that he'd believe in himself too, that he could come in and do the job at short notice. So there'll only be a couple of training sessions, but the fact that he's played with that left edge last year is an advantage for us as well. You know, it's not like you're bringing in someone that hasn't been here before, that hasn't played with those players. So.
All right, there you go. So very confident, as he should be, for Jarome Luai, 1300 01 1170. You've got the 84 side, Brian, for Wynnum Manly.
I do. I've got it here. So the Wynnum team, Premiers, was Brian Walsh at fullback. Your wingers were Terry Butler and Warren Green. Centres, Brett French and Gene Miles. Your 5'8" was the King. Peter Dawes is 7. Front row, Gary Coyne, David Green, the hooker, Tony Kajewski, I hope I'm saying that correct. Greg Dowling, Mal Green, Ian French. Desi Morris was the...
Is it like Jack Kajewski or...?
No. Kajewski.
Oh, okay, yeah, with a K. With a K.
Yeah.
Let's start with the Dragons taking on the Sharkies. Local derby, both sides, Brian, were awful. Now, we caught up with Jacob Halangahu, the youngster who's on his way to play for New South Wales next week. His second time in the New South Wales side, a former Australian schoolboys captain who captained Lockie Galvin. And he spoke about young centre who's debuting for the Dragons. Nicky T, he said. Nicky Zagranis. He's going to play centres for the Dragons. That's a big ask, isn't it? Really big ask.
What side is he? Might be marking Hiroti. No, he'll be left.
No, he'll be on the left.
Because
Zuli plays right.
Yes.
He'll be on the left. And he'll be on the left likely with
Ramian.
Lawson.
Yeah, but up against Ramian?
Up against Ramian, Katoa, Britton Nickera,
and
Nico Hines. So they'll be going down that side.
I'm confident Fitzy will get them right. I'm confident Fitzy, who's been very patient with his team, mind you. They've had 2 bad losses. He hasn't wielded the axe, but if they do get rolled by the Dragons, they've got to do something with their halves. I don't know whether Acko comes in. I don't know whether Trindle goes to 7. I don't know whether Nico and Daniel Atkinson. But at the moment, those last 2 weeks, they've been in the game, and I'm going to say it, those halves let them down. Both of them. The kicking game was atrocious. Atrocious last week.
Big game. It's a big game for both sides, really. I mean, Dragons beat the Broncos up there at Suncorp, went back up there and got absolutely trounced by the Dolphins. Sharkies just need this. Many were saying they're contender, which they can still be, by the way.
Definitely.
Not forgetting the Storm were hammered by the Dolphins, and
they lapped the Storm.
And they lapped the Storm. Dogs were hammered by the Dolphins. So it's one of those comps, but you've got to get going here, boys.
Got to get going, and they just got to. They were in the fight. That's probably the most disappointing thing for Fitzy and the coaching staff. They were there 12-10, and they could have won that.
Yep.
And they just. It was like, I don't know what happened, but they just they were meek in defence. It just wasn't the Sharks.
Yep.
And it was a week before against the Chooks that we thought, the Chooks had a great game. Maybe it was just a one-off, but they need to win and make a statement, I feel.
Okay, fair enough. And Moses Suli plays game 150, Britton Nickera plays game 150. So they're twins when it comes to 150 milestones. Tyrell Sloan back on the wing. What's more likely here, Brian? Sharks by 30 plus or Dragons win?
What's more likely? Dragons win.
You reckon?
I feel that.
That's more likely. Okay.
KL's a big loss.
Big loss. And as we talked with Shawnee yesterday, so...
we got a Cronulla supporter here. Mitchie?
Yes.
You're Sharkies.
Yeah, it's disappointing. It's the last... obviously, knocking off the Storm, you feel like... We're riding high. This is we're making a case.
What were you most disappointed about last week?
Last week, probably the fact that for a lot, what was it? It was 12.
12-10 half time. 12-10 half time.
And then just kind of, I don't know, went to sleep or something. We never looked. I don't want to say we didn't look interested because that sounds like quite slack. But that second half, they just weren't there.
The most disappointing thing is that you took on a team, and maybe this let the guard down, and perhaps you had Adam Fanua-Blake. They did not have Mitch Barnett, and you're playing at home. That's the most disappointing.
And they didn't have Wade Egan.
They didn't have Wade Egan.
And they were just making yards, and that's not a Fitzy coach team with his defensive nous, and that's what he would have been filthy with. I feel that if they do get rolled here, that'll be enough. Fitzy will say, right, changes are coming.
No, I don't think they can get to that. They can't get rolled. If they don't win this game, like the Dragons have got, with the greatest respect to this youngster, Nicky Zagranis, he comes in, who we haven't really heard about.
I'm back.
Lawson.
I'm back in Nicky T to score.
Oh, mate, I hope so. But
come on, Nicky T.
Seriously, they have to win and win big. They have to win and win big.
Okay.
Titans take on the Seagulls. This game, 8 p.m, Seabus Super Stadium. The narrative here, of course, is 2011. Kieran Foran is in the halves with Daley, Cherry Evans, young halves, win a premiership, coached by Des Hasler. They're all here, and these are another two teams where it is desperado again.
Yeah, well, their front row's gone. Tino and Mo. It's weird, isn't it? They're the front. They are the starting front rowers for Queensland in Origin, and the Titans are running last.
Yep. Yeah.
It's just the mind boggles. And then on the other side of the coin, they get back Turbo, Saab, and DCE's playing, and Takiaho. I can see DCE going berserk here. This is a berserker game. Just to stick it up, Billy.
Yep.
Manly 13 plus.
Yep. Okay. Manly 13 plus. Full strength Manly side against the Titans without their stars. Basically, Seibold, he escaped from Newcastle, Brian, without any sort of controversy because of the, I suppose you could say, the Adam O'Brien handling of that situation.
Yeah, that's sort of. Yeah, well, again, that was second half, and this is we've spoken about Manly. They do this a lot. Jekyll and Hyde.
What could Adam O'Brien do? So let's go to the Knights and the Roosters. What could he do in an affable way to win over the local Hunter public, Brian?
Go out into the crowd before the game.
Yeah.
Go out.
Yep.
Or do a lap of...
Would he get booed or would he get cheered for doing it?
There'd be a bit of both, but in the end, people would... You've ripped the Band-Aid off.
I think so too. I thought the same thing.
Remember when Gus made...
Or do you just jump on the mic and say, hey, guys, I know I've said it publicly. Look,
no.
Get on the mic in the middle
around,
of the field.
If there's a reserve grade, get around and walk around into the crowd.
Yep.
Say, hey, guys.
Hey, guys, want to apologise for last week, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So as reserve grade starts, do that.
Yeah.
Why not? Because that's kind of your only way out. Unless you win the comp, that's the only other way out.
Give them like ice Vovos or hand out some biscuits. You know, like it's a...
Yeah.
It's a gesture. No, because they probably throw it at him. Is that what you're saying, Turi? Okay, no gifts.
How would it be received, tourists, if he did that?
Yeah, well, I think the Newcastle fans... We've got Matty Johns coming up here.
So what can he do? Do you think there's nothing you can do? Just go and coach. Okay, yeah, probably right.
No, get out there and just... Or maybe the safety of the field. They'd boo him.
Yeah, they boo him. Yeah, I know. But, I mean, the bloke's making an effort if you're
He's
doing that.
making an effort.
Anyway, Mullet Central. Fletcher Sharp could... Oh, Fletcher Sharp's in doubt.
Oh.
Ooh, Fletcher Sharp's in doubt. We know Sam Walker is out of the clash. And it is understood that Brock Grayson will make his NRL debut off the bench. That's one thing that this abbreviated round does around Origin. It does produce debutants, Brian.
It does. So is Fletcher Sharp really out?
They could be out.
Okay, NRL physio via Barry Tui. What is it? What's the injury? Should we go through them again? Should we go through the Sam Walker?
Bad haircut? Is it bad haircut?
Just says lower leg injury.
They cannot afford. He's the only shining light.
I know. How are they going to score points without him?
They can't.
If they do that, Fletcher Hunt, my man, goes to fullback. I reckon he's a gun.
And I tell you, we didn't talk about this. This was a delay grade. That imbecile who had a shot at Schiller. Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
What an absolute... I think he's... I don't know.
Did they end up getting him?
They should. It was atrocious.
Atrocious.
Like,
mate, it's a game of rugby league. Pull your head in.
Hopefully he gets belted.
Yeah.
No, I'm not going to incite violence.
No. Don't incite that.
I will, though.
Nafahu White, Brian.
None.
Speaking about not inciting violence, did you read the yarn about Nat Butcher and Egan Butcher's old man?
I did.
How good was that?
Blakey Butcher saved the day.
Yeah. He apparently can't run so much these days.
No, but he put a shot. He put a shot on Jason Neal Melbourne, who escaped because he's over. They live over that way. They live over at Chifley. So a textbook shoulder charge.
Yeah.
Look at Blakey there. What a really nice face.
He's got a whole page on page 7 of the Daily
Do
Telegraph.
you feel that Blakey Butcher could be a politician with that face?
Very much so.
Like I trust him.
Yep. Very much
Played
so.
for South in the 90s, late 80s, early 90s.
So
what happened is...
What about this idiot who he was on a 9-year jail sentence and he had 18 months to go, this buffoon.
Yep.
Escaped, starts causing all sorts of havoc. He's got a knife and everything.
Broke in.
Yep.
And he ran into Blake Butcher's
He comes
right
charging
shoulder.
out. Blake Butcher puts on a shoulder charge.
Textbook.
Yep. He's got 2 weeks, so he can't go to NRL games for 2 weeks, but he's going to take the early guilty plea. So he'll be back for the next week, Brian.
Have you ever done a citizen's arrest or have you ever saved someone from a crime? You ever done anything like that?
Don't think so. You?
Ever thwarted a robbery?
No.
No, I haven't.
I wish I did.
Why?
I just think it'd be nice to know that you did it. I don't think so. Would you do that?
Depends. Depends, I suppose.
What's the right thing to do? What's the right thing to do if somebody came into your house, breaking into your house and you're asleep?
Well, if you're Mitch, you take melatonin because you get night terrors. What's the right thing to do? What are you allowed to do?
Like
you're allowed to attack them.
Should you go after them or are you best to try and spook them and scare them and off they go?
You go them.
You go them?
The great Justin Dooley. The great Justin Dooley and Coach Trent Robinson.
Yeah.
Have you heard that story?
I have, actually.
When they had a intruder.
Yeah.
And Dools went to town on him. Dools flogged him.
Did he?
And Robbo was the bloke. Robbo was like a was like a lion tamer. He had a chair. He had a chair, they reckon. And then Dools got him on the ground, and Robbo put the chair over the top of him and sat on him. Yeah, then they flogged him and locked him in the laundry.
Did they?
And then the bloke was handing back the money because they went through Dools' wallet.
Yeah.
And the bloke through the door was going, "Sorry, mate," here, and was handing back. And then the coppers came.
Yeah, so the cops came.
Coppers came. He was lying on the ground, handcuffed, the intruder.
Yeah.
And Dools was talking to the copper. And while he was lying on the ground, the guy was saying data. And Dools just went, boom.
Oh.
Just kicked him in the ribs. And the policeman goes, "Look, yeah, you can't do that." But,
No, but we didn't see it. Cowboys and the Dolphins, QCB Stadium, 5 out for the Cowboys on Origin duty. They also lose Bateman and Vilea for suspension. Drinkwater comes over as the captain. Murray Talangi is back from injury. And a youngster, Caden Lars, makes his debut. He's the son of Tom Leroy Lars. Averillo comes back in at fullback. He's a danger there. As I said, Billy Slater, he was saying that his most underrated is Averillo. And Jordan McLean plays his 150th game for the Cowboys.
Dolphins all day for me.
Yep.
They're been sneaky good in defence.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, what are they averaging the last 4 games?
Last 4 games.
No, don't check. Don't.
Well, I come up with I gave you the stat.
No, you didn't. I came up with the actual. I came up with the actual number.
Okay, right.
11 points. Their last 4 games.
Yep, that's right. Exactly right. So they have, and they've played some good teams there. So
you came up with their attack.
They held the Dragons to 6. They held the Bulldogs to 8.
16 and 16.
They held the Warriors 16, Para 16, Crete.
So we know them as an attacking prowess team.
Yep.
But it's been their defence. So they click.
Yep.
We need them to make the 8 because I've got an interest. And you win some, you lose more.
Correct.
And they're good to watch.
Yes.
I like watching them, and I like watching Noah Papali'i.
Yes, and 2 of the brightest stars in the game going head-to-head here, Katoa versus Purdue. Rabbitohs and the Dogs live on SEN on Sunday from 4 o'clock, folks, Accor Stadium. Jai Gray comes in for fullback for Latrell Mitchell, who's off to Origin duty. Jaden Sullivan moves to 5'8". Jamie Humphries takes over at halfback, and Lockie Galvin with his first starting jumper. Will he leave the starting side, Brian, after this, Lockie Galvin? Is there a world in which he starts from here on in?
No, I don't agree with that. No. I think, no, I don't. I feel that he's still got to. He offers a bit coming off the bench.
Yep.
I don't know whether they can keep carrying Bailey Hayward and him on the bench. That's the only conundrum. I know everyone keeps saying Reed Marnie's on the outer, but Toby Sexton, I thought he was good last week. The Bunnies look tired to me. Bunnies look real tired.
Well, hard after take it on that. I don't think anyone was beating Canberra last week.
No, but I just feel that they've lost a couple of games on the trot now. I think they've only. What are they, 6 from the last 8? And the only thing I'm hoping for the Bunnies is that week last week for the Dogs. It was a big game. They had all the noise around Galvin. Maybe they might be a bit flat.
Yeah, interesting to see how that plays out.
Who do you like here?
I think South can win.
Remember, there is a couple of South Sydney supporters listening.
I think South can win.
Okay.
I think South can win. I'm very close to tipping South. I do think the Dogs are a very good side, but Crichton's a big out. Burton's a big out. So there you go there.
Man's a big out.
Who?
Man.
Yeah, Man's a big out. Unusual day. Very wobbly at the start, Brian. A couple of early wickets. Rabada was just on fire early on. 14 wickets tumble on day 1 at Lords. Australia sent into bat. And we're all out for 212. So it seems the draw is going to be under immense pressure, and we will have a result, which probably suits Australia, because if in the event of a draw, which we learned yesterday with Crash Craddock, that would mean that South Africa, in fact, win the World Test Championship. Usman Khawaja, it was a 20-ball duck, which the biggest concern there, Brian, is we had him on the show. You didn't take 20 balls to get him out, did you?
I know, I got him in 3, didn't he? No, the openers, our top order again, other than Smith. And the slug. We talked about the slug yesterday.
Oh, yeah.
The slug saved the day. Just don't give him any salt, otherwise he'll shrivel up.
Well, they gave him a bit of salt early, and they weren't aware to it. Stephen Smith thought he was absolutely plumb, and they didn't hardly appeal.
I tell you what, their catching was good.
Yeah.
What about that? I think it was it Cam Green got out, and I don't know who caught a second slip. He was blinded by it because third slip, he reached out. It's always going to your left hand. I don't know who took the catch, but it was a screamer down low. But, yeah, our bowling attack again, the cartel.
Oh, the cartel.
We need more cartel chat.
The cartel was sublime. Now, questions have to be asked. Is Usman the right man to be leading the attack? Does he make it past the Windies tour? Is it an Ashes swan song, perhaps? Sam Constas, surely he's clearly the future for Australia. All these questions are being posed. Many of those on the text board, 0457 736 736. Our stablemate Ian Healy on Breakfast on SENQ spoke about Uzi. Here's what he had to say.
One mistake and you're in trouble. So Usman Khawaja didn't get those feet moving. He faced 20 balls of struggle and made
concrete
naught.
boots on.
Yeah, that's right. He just could not get them going. The balance wouldn't work and kick in for him.
Khawaja is the opening batsman for Australia, and moving your feet is paramount. Why does he not move his feet?
Well, he never has.
Right.
So that's always been his style.
Okay.
He's quite still at the crease and he waits for the ball to come into his zones and plays the shots he plays. He's got to be better balanced.
Right.
Yep.
Okay.
You watch Usman bat, whenever you see the back leg come through a shot, you play a shot and your back leg keeps walking through, you know you haven't moved your front leg far enough.
Okay.
Yeah, there you go. Cam Green, the object. He managed 4 in his return to the side. Bo Webster, 72, as I said, maybe a little bit lucky on his journey. Stephen Smith, 66. What a player he is to salvage a respectable total to defend in that first innings. Kagiso Rabada, pick of the Proteas bowlers. He got 551 fresh off a drug suspension. Is that right?
Yeah. I think it was a recreational rort.
Yep.
But am I correct in saying Steve Smith's getting back to his old ways of the fidgeting and the sword playing?
Yep.
I thought it sort of he sort of got rid of that, especially against India. But it was back.
Yeah.
You know, he just when he leaves it, he just whoosh. It's a bit like he's got a lightsaber in his hand.
What's the ad that has that as well?
Ryobi,
is it? Yeah. So that's what he was doing. The Australian bowling, the cartel, came out firing with Mitchie Stark sending Macram back to the pavilion on the last ball of the first over. Starkey finished the day with 2 for 10 off 7. Cummins and Hazelwood each picked up a wicket to have the Proteas 4 for 43 at stumps. So would you say we're in front, Brian?
We are in front.
Yep.
We are in front, and Mitch, he's just the best, Starkey. When he gets it right, unplayable.
So poor old Boland, we spoke about Scotty. He would make any other cartel, but not this cartel, Brian.
Well, we had Crash on yesterday, and he was saying, yeah, but have a look at the two blokes that are there, Hazelwood.
Yeah.
I mean, Hazelwood's the Mickey as well.
Absolute, Michael. SEN's coverage of the World Test Championship final between Australia and South Africa continues tonight. By the way, we're talking about how do you go to sleep with audio. I'm not suggesting this will put you to sleep, but there is something very serene about sleeping with the cricket commentary on, isn't there, Brian? There always has been for many, many decades. You lie down, whether it's in the middle of the day or the night time, there is something very peaceful about listening to cricket commentary.
It was only the one. It was Dennis Cometti.
Was it?
I used to just froth on him because it was the one that was the day nighters. I remember listening to it as a kid because
so good.
the Australian Sydney we wouldn't get it unless it was a sellout. So we had to put on Dennis Cometti. And I just have him and then the cicadas in the background.
Oh, that's the best.
And sand in your bed.
Well, you can join Adam Collins, Damien Fleming, Bharat Sundaresh and Sand in Your Bed's optional live from Lords for every ball, live and free on SEN and the SEN app, 1300 01 1170. Just before we break, Brian, because we'll be waiting for you on the other side of this break. Many, many texts coming. You want to get to a couple of those before we talk a bit of State of Origin?
Yes, we got one here. Boys, Cam Green seems to be the cricket, Australia's golden child, but he's overrated. He doesn't make regular runs. Surely the slug is our best all-rounder. Well, we've been saying that.
Yeah.
He can't bowl because he's got a bad back. Surely it's time, this is from Ben, surely it's time for Curtis Patterson to get another chance. Averaging 144 in Test cricket. Well, the kids, Sam Constas he's the next in line.
He's the next in line. Yeah, he's got to be the next
Bancroft.
in line. Anything else on the left there, Brian?
On the left. This is from Timmy. I don't think we've ever spoken to Timmy. Or spoke about Timmy. I totally get the Romy selection, as Nathan would love to play with him again and have a good partnership. But on form, Luke Metcalf and Katoa deserve it more this season. Big ask, putting a debutant in there in Origin. Big ask. I mean, has he played... Would Jarome be in double figures in Origin?
No, not 10. No way, not 10. 10's a big Origin career, Brian.
Can you look that up, please?
10 Origins?
What's he played?
He's played 11.
He's played 11.
What?
There you go.
Jarome Luai has played 11 Origins.
Yep.
Yeah, from
That's
21.
big. Wow.
So this will be 12.
How many's Nathan played? What, 16 or
I'll
something?
say 14.
That's big, isn't it?
I'll say Nathan's played 14. He had a few out. With
Mate, there's some superstars. Like Rod Wishart, I think, played like 22 or...
15.
That's a big number. 15 for Nathan. 11 for Jarome.
Oh,
He's playing his 12th Origin. Gee, that's a big
Hailstorm
number.
Hillary. Yeah, it's boring and puts you to sleep. It's cricket.
Mm.
Come on, Hillary.
Yeah, yippee, yoppie, aye. Now, Brian, starring for the Dragons New South Wales Cup, this youngster. They're on a six-game win streak. Selected for the New South Wales side for the second time. And I'm talking about this promising youngster, Jacob Halangahu. Welcome to the Run Home with Joel and Fletch.
Hey, Lasma. Thank you for having me.
So you're back in the Sky Blue again, mate. A big win last year. You had coach Andrew Bobcat Ryan. This time around, you've got another Bulldog in Joshy Jackson.
Yep.
Hey, Jacob, what happens? Do you go into camp for a couple of days, or is it just training? What's the go with the under-19 side?
So we had a training session last night from about 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock just to get around the boys, coaching staff, and just kind of understand the plays and shapes we're going to run. And then got today off, and we're going to camp tomorrow morning at Sydney Olympic Park from Friday till Monday, and then fly out Monday to Sunshine Coast, spend probably the week up there, play Thursday night, and then fly back home Friday.
So, Jacob, you're with Joshy Jackson, of course, a Canterbury Bulldog, great, and involved there at the Dogs. Have you learned anything from him that maybe reflects a bit of their first grade side?
Probably just the work ethic. You know, like last year's, the first training session we had, like last night. Last year was kind of just a walkthrough, get to know everything. Whereas last night was pretty high effort, high sprint, and just working under fatigue. And that's probably the biggest thing I picked up off Joshy Jackson.
Hey, Jacob, what's your background? Where did you start playing? Like, what competition were you in? What area?
So I grew up in the Mount Druitt area. First club was the Mitchenberry Jets. Played under 6s to about under 10s, under 11s there, and then transitioned over to Brothers Penrith over in the up in the Penrith comp, and then just kind of played my junior rugby league there, and then took off from there and ended up in the St George Harold Match team.
How did that happen? I'd imagine you grew up as a Panthers fan. Did you want to stay with Penrith, and how did the Dragons get you over there?
Yeah, I grew up as a Penrith fan. Dad's still a Penrith fan now, but so I was in the Penrith system there, like development teams and that, and I was still a year young for Harold Match. Didn't make that team because I was the year before that ending. I suffered a pretty big injury, like with my ankle and my leg and stuff, and didn't get picked in that. And then I was with my management crew at the time there, and they just kind of shopped me around and picked up from there. Kyle Stanley took me under his wing over at the St George Harold Match team, and been there ever since.
The great Kyle Stanley, and I think a few other kids who may have followed similar paths. Loco Pacifici Tonga, Finau Latu, who's now heading the Dogs, but they were Penrith kids as well, weren't they?
Yeah, Finau definitely. We played together at Mitchenberry, and then he went over to Union for a bit, and then he came back to St Mary's Saints, and we played against each other, and then ended up together at Harold Match St George. Hey,
Jacob, what do you do? Do you work? Are you studying? What does spare time look like for you?
Spare time, it varies. I just finished my diploma of community and family services, so I got that under my belt. I'm training full time with the NRL squad at the moment, and just on my days off, got 7 younger siblings, and the youngest 3 are, I think, 3, 2, 1, so pretty full on there, just babysitting them.
Do you get paid for that?
Yeah.
Is mum and dad giving you a bit of an earn? What about playing now? You're playing reserve grade, or New South Wales Cup, as they like to call it now. So you're playing against, some guys who have been around the trap, some first graders coming back down to New South Wales Cup. Have you found it challenging?
Bits and pieces there. Like, it just kind of all depends on the team you're playing and the styles they're playing. Like, the other night we played Newcastle, and they're a pretty up-tempo team. They had a few NRL players as well, and even just for me being a youngster, like some weeks I still run out like starstruck. Like, this guy used to play NRL and now I'm versing him. So, yeah, still just taking it with my stride and just learning more about reserve grade and NRL as I go.
Jacob, I see you scored a try on your debut in the New South Wales Cup. When can we see you scoring that try for your debut in the NRL?
Hopefully soon. That's probably the biggest lesson I'm learning at the moment with reserve grade NRL is just the patience, and everything kind of happens for a reason. You know, we've got a debutant tonight, Nick T in the centre, so kind of just staying patient, and hopefully my goal to debut is probably sometime by the end of the year to get under my belt. That's probably my biggest thing.
What's your contract situation like, Jacob, with the Dragons? How long you signed for?
End of 2027.
Oh, okay. Just thinking, just thinking the Roosters back rowers. They may be retiring soon. So do you like the ocean? Do you like the beach?
No, I'm not a really good swimmer or strong swimmer.
No,
mate, he trains next to the beach now.
No, it doesn't have to be. You don't have to be.
Hey, Jacob, a lot of texts coming through saying, love the sound of this bloke, clearly sounds like a star. Who does he remind us of? We don't actually know the answer to that. Who would you say that your game is similar to for those currently playing in the National Rugby League?
I kind of just take bits and pieces. Like at the moment, on field, I'm trying to take as much as I can from Luciano, just like the versatility he has, the ball playing as a back rower, and then you like flip the other side and defense-wise at Dragons, I'm learning a bit of Sua. And then off the field, you know, Ray for Tyler Marin is probably one of the most professional players I've seen. So I'm just kind of brain picking all three of them and then take what I can from everyone and put it into my game.
Speaking with talented youngster for the second time, he'll play for New South Wales in the under-19s. He was Australian schoolboys captain, which I want to ask you about some of your teammates in that team. But before we move on, you mentioned Nick T. Now, Nick T is Nick Sagranis, who is going to debut tonight for the Dragons. On the profile picture, he looks a little bit like a Joshy Mansour. Who would you say he plays like? What can the Dragon fans expect out of him tonight?
He's probably just one of the most reliable blokes and most genuine blokes. Like those players you like playing alongside.
Yep.
He doesn't complain about anything, and he just does what he's told, tries to get his job done. You know, especially for him, it's been a big transition. He's normally a back row middle and played the last 6 or 7 games in the centre, and he's just kind of picked that up on the stride. So, yeah, he's just probably one of the most genuine guys I know, and those players you want to play alongside and work for.
So did you ever play with Lachlan Galvin? I know he's the golden boy at the moment. Did you play with him or against him?
Yeah, I played with him and against him. I played against him in the Schoolboys Cup, Paddy's vs Westfields in the grand final, and then I played outside him when we were in the Australian Schoolboys squad over in PNG.
Do you like him?
Yeah, yeah, he's a good bloke.
So, Jacob, just out of that side, who else has kicked on from that team?
There was Galvin, Locker, obviously. Who else was there in that team that year? Not really much I could think of the top of my head that's already playing NRL, but definitely a lot of boys that are pushing the ranks of playing NRL.
Well, we had Lockie Galvin on the Matty show, and we were just talking to him, and he's a bit of a footy nerd, like he watches every game. What about you, Jacob? I know you've got you're quite busy with all your siblings, but are you watching most games of NRL every week?
Yeah, of course I am. That's probably my reserve grade coach now, Willie Talau, is probably the biggest thing I learned off him last year in SD Boy. He says that's probably the best way to learn about the game and about your position is try and watch as much NRL games as you can. That's probably the easiest and most sufficient way you're probably going to learn. So, yeah, I definitely do.
Right. What about if away from rugby league, you watching any shows at the moment? Do you like Mobland? Have you watched Mobland by any chance?
No, I've never heard of it.
No. What sort of shows do you like?
I just finished watching The Rookie on Netflix.
Yes.
Watching that series.
Yep.
And right now I'm probably watching Pretty Little Lies with my partner.
Oh. Okay, I don't want to give that away.
Really?
Yeah.
Who's in that, Brian?
Yeah.
I don't want to give it away.
Oh, you don't even give who's in it.
Is Nicole Kidman in that?
I think so.
Yeah. Pretty sure it is.
Okay. Now you have something in common with us. where Struddies have been a big supporter of SEN now for a while. Now, you're an ambassador for Struddies and in the rugby league apparel in general. Struddies have supported you since you're in year 12, Jacob. So they got around you nice and early. Too smart, the team at Struddies.
Yeah, they are, especially Jacob Strudwick.
Yes, exactly right. What about Dion's on the Twitter? He says, can you ask him what your favourite player is growing up or who that was?
Kind of varied. Growing up, like in Mount Druitt, I kind of looked towards Michael Jennings a lot. The Jennings brothers, they were pretty inspirational for me, especially they grew up around the same era as my dad, played alongside my dad. So I kind of looked towards them, and then just like every other Tongan kid, we all idolised Jason Taumalolo growing up.
Oh, yeah. Yes, he was a player. What about, so there's all these new clubs coming in. Would you be, I mean, you come off contract in 27. If you weren't to stay at the Dragons, would you go to Perth? Are you looking, would you go to Melbourne, or do you want to stay in Sydney?
Probably stay in Sydney for a bit, stay as close as I can to my family. I'm a big family man, so yeah, probably stay in Sydney for as long as I can, and then when things come to the table, just take what's probably best for me and my own family.
Yeah. Jacob, we're hearing more and more about Mount Druitt. Mount Druitt. I actually played Mount Druitt, Brian, my first ever grand final.
Bruce, were you there at the Waterworks? The Waterworks are gone.
Yeah, and I was there for the Waterworks.
Yeah, the Waterworks still there, Jacob? It was called Mount Druitt Waterworks.
Yeah.
It's still there. You know, the water slides and all that jazz.
Yeah, they're put into the local pool now, man.
Oh, okay. There you go.
There you go. Well, anyway, we're hearing more and more about Mount Druitt, Jacob. Why is Mount Druitt such a hotbed for young, promising rugby league players?
I guess you could say it's like most people refer to Mount Druitt as sort of the trenches, and it's kind of, you have two paths pretty much. You either go and work in a warehouse for most of your life, or you pursue something you love doing from a young age, and that's probably the biggest thing from Mount Druitt. Like, most kids don't want to go work in a warehouse, so rugby league's probably the main thing that everyone chases around here.
What about Shane Flanagan? I want to ask about Shane Flanagan. Has he got cranky with you yet?
Nah, not me. I'm in his good books.
Oh, good. Well, that's good.
Are you still living out at Mount Druitt, Jacob? Have you moved down at down the Gong?
No, we've moved down to the Gong now, so we're living down in Albion Park.
Everyone, or just you and your partner?
Nah, so my partner's originally from Wollongong. She lives in Woonona, and then, I moved my 7 siblings and 2 parents down there.
Oh, how good.
Jacob, we had a little sneaky call with the great Kyle Stanley, who is a big reason why you've gone to Dragons and followed that path, and maybe even why you've met your partner. I'm not quite sure if that played a part, but Brian, he had a massive rap on this bloke, both as a player and as a personality, and we see at least one tick, and we'll get to see another tick when you take on Queensland. Jacob, mate, well done on what you've achieved so far, and thank you for joining the Run Home with Joel and Fletch. We look forward to following your journey.
No worries. Thank you for having me.
Good on you, Jacob.
It's the Run Home on the Run Home with Joel and Fletch, joined by Matty Cleary. I'll introduce him in a moment. SEN's coverage of the World Test Championship final between Australia and South Africa. We appear to be slightly in front. Continues tonight. You can join Adam Collins, Damien Fleming, Brett Sunderacen live from Lords for every ball, live and free on SEN and the SEN app. Now, Brian, for those who are tuning in via YouTube, you can subscribe to YouTube, the Run Home with Joel and Fletch. We have the Golf Australia magazine. Now, we also have the deputy editor here, Mr. Matt Cleary. All thanks to Classic Capital Golf Tours, offers seamless golf experiences ahead of the US Open. Matty Cleary, g'day to you.
Hello, Sugar. Thanks for being here.
Oh, mate, he's up and about at the moment. Not only is it the US Open Golf, Brian, it is his Canberra Raiders are flying.
Yeah, they are.
Aren't they what?
Yes. Well,
I thought next year they would. I thought this young team would bust out young blokes. I knew that's why Ricky stayed on. So he and Don Furner made Ricky forever coach. They did to bring these young fellas along. But KO Weeks, Ethan Strange, they've busted out now and killing them.
Yeah, Ethan Strange, he's going to be a player. He's going to be a big player.
He's going to be a great player. Matty, what's the ceiling? Is there a ceiling on these Raiders of 2025?
How do you mean? Like, as in, where can they go? Well, I mean, geez, no one thought they would come top 4. No. Now we're talking about, here you guys, can they make the grand final?
Yeah, can they?
Can they win? 100%.
Yeah.
There's a top 4. Obviously, Storm's going to be strong. I think Penrith's got to come back. Raiders have beaten everyone that's come their way, and a little slack run home, and 3 buys to come.
Yep.
Anything's possible.
Why not? Why not them?
Now, let's... I mean, it's good talking rugby league. We love rugby league, but
Yeah.
we're over it. Let's talk about golf. Let's talk about the US Open preview first, or the golf tours.
I want to talk about this, Brian. So we are going to look into the US Open, but we want to talk about planning your next golf tour. It can be an absolute pain in the Shaminda vase, Brian.
Tell me about it.
So Classic Capital Golf Tours, Warren and the team have you sorted. Classic Capital Golf Tours run trips in Canberra, the Southern Islands, South Coast, Hunter Valley, Port Stephens, but their two most popular destinations, the Coffs Coast and the Murray River. Talk to us about Coffs. Have you done that?
Oh, well, Coffs Coast is where the great Bonneville Golf Club is.
Lose some pills there.
Mate. Well, it's a roller coaster, roller coaster ride through the forest, through the beautiful flooded gums. They have these beautiful, massive tall trees. It's just as close as we've got to Augusta National in terms of the looking of it. You know, the 17th hole has shades of the 12th, the par 3, the famous one over the creek, short par 3. The 18th hole is a great big, lovely right to left over a hill, down to a green with a creek running in front of it, like the famous 13th par 5 there. Beautiful place. They do so much right there at Bonneville. The accommodation is very nice. They've got a restaurant called the Flooded Gums, which has got two hats in the way of these.
Oh, wow.
Well, they share staff with Jonas up here at Whale Beach.
Oh, flash.
They share chefs and staff. So they do a lot right there, and they can keep you on there. And it's just a fantastic. It's just, if you haven't played it, Brian, you played Bonneville?
I have, but I lost heaps of pills. Just with your mind, the Classic Capital Golf Tours, do they do, when you say they do everything, do they book flights, they book accommodation, food, or is it just the golf?
No, they can book flights, and they can book your dinner reservations and your accommodation, tea times. They call it sort of a concierge service where it's from booking, you turn up with your list of 10 mates, and they do everything until you get on the tee. Book your tea times, who wants a cart, who doesn't want to share a cart with who wants to walk.
Oh, okay.
And also stuff like when it's, say the greens might be corded, you turn up at a course, which can happen. The greens are cord. Well, Warren McCourt will know in advance if they're cord. He'll know if in advance the weather's mean there's no carts or if they're off, and he'll reschedule it. Refund, it's all a seamless.
Yep.
So, as the organiser guy, you're the central human Google, I call it, for everyone's bloody complaints and what's going on.
Now, I feel golf carts, and I love golf carts. It's the only way I play golf. Is there golf carts out there that have bigger eskies rather than the ones on the side that can only hold 4 stubbies? Is there any out there that have bigger eskies? And if not, I feel we should invent them.
There's a bloke who runs club cars in Australia. So the market in Australia is relatively small for cars. So we don't really have that sort of, as much as they do in America, for people getting around in cars. Yeah. So in America now, they want to trick up their golf carts and make like they do with their cars, pimp my ride sort of stuff.
But they're their own.
Yes, so they can own them. Yeah,
Okay.
and but there's not so much a market for a bigger esky. But I agree. Yeah, so that little 6-pack there,
Not good enough.
Not
good
They
enough.
need them on both sides.
And one giant one, maybe put it on the roof. I feel that's what's just lacking.
What about the basket, the little basket part? Surely,
but you got to keep them cold,
yeah, but surely there's a little thing you can put over it,
like a Yeti.
like a little temporary esky, isn't it?
Don't know.
Anyway,
Let's get some
I'm
tips
on
going.
the Classic Capital Golf website, classiccapitalgolf.com.au. So if you are the organiser in your group, check it out. And just things like priority access to the best golf courses in New South Wales. But we're going to talk about one of the best golf events in the United States, the US Open. Hard to win. Scotty Scheffler, I don't think, has ever won this. Is that right, Matt?
He hasn't won the US Open, no. And, well, he is the sort of Captain Obvious pick. I found a stat I dug up today. Americans have won 8 of the last 10 US Opens.
Right.
So hometown sort of thing there, outside of John Rahm and Matt Fitzpatrick. Scotty Scheffler, his form line reads win, tied 4th, win.
Wow.
Including the most recent major, the PGA Championship. I'm off him, however.
Why?
For 3 reasons. He's too short.
Yeah.
350 is ridiculous. Tiger-esque odds. He's in Tiger-esque form, but it's like Winks in a 150-horse field. The rough is massively penal. So he's gonna go off as much as anyone, even though off the green. It's how he handles it from there, because he's got to chop sideways. He can get as frustrated as anyone else. Hopefully he'll get frustrated and do his nana. The other thing is the greens will be absolutely super smooth, as fast as Augusta, undulating. Another thing I dug up today, Oakmont is where they actually invented the stimp meter, which is is a thing called a stimp meter.
Stimp meter.
Stimp meter.
What's the
which
stimpy do?
is the measure for how fast your green is.
Oh.
So it's just like a little thing, and they roll the
roll the
ball
ball
down.
down. Yes,
Roll the
I've seen that.
Yeah, so that's where they invented it in 1935 because they've been fast for a long time. They're at
Okay.
Oakmont.
So what's the measurement of a stimp meter? So it would say, what does it present as?
A number, sort
So
of
it's just a
between.
number.
So like I think it's 18 is the absolute. You're on
Lightning.
linoleum, and then down. So
Gotcha.
what the number is at Oakmont, I couldn't tell you, but it will be high.
Before we get into this, so my young ones have recently got into golf, and they're getting right into that. And one of the boys sent me this. They said, "Oh, Dad, this is a process of elimination on TikTok. You need to win the US Open. To this point, every player has been in the top 25. Would that be right?"
Sounds good. It does draw out the top players for sure.
Okay. Top 25. You must have, in this calendar year, at least one top 10. You must be a top 20 scorer for average this year. And you must be in the top 20 for driving accuracy. Now, it only leaves two players who fit that. The two players are Seb Straka, who you've tipped before,
My man.
and Russell Henley.
Yeah, well, they're the guys I tipped in the bloody Masters.
Yeah.
So there were roughies in the Masters.
Is that a Bruce?
Yeah,
Oh, no,
Bruce.
because they didn't win.
Did I?
No.
I don't understand, Bruce. Why is Bruce?
Bruce
is he dropping?
means your big note.
How Bruce started,
Yeah.
Bruce McAvaney had announced his retirement.
Right.
And then every single person on the planet was posting a picture of Bruce McAvaney and themselves, but
Right.
really it's about themselves, right?
Okay, yeah. Here's
So you're
me.
leveraging off one other person to
putting
make
yourself
it about
in
you.
Okay.
We do it quite well here.
Yeah, we do it often.
Are we agreeing with Sugar's tips?
Well, I love what your young blokes come up with.
No, it's not
fantastic.
my young bloke. He shared it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, for sure. I mean, I've got Sepp Striker down here as a value tip.
Yep.
I mean, he's won twice on the PGA Tour this year. Henley's won at least once on the PGA Tour and been top 5 at other times as well. So they would stand out. My sort of value guy, however, at 33 to 1 is Joaquin Niemann, whom I tipped for the PGA. Didn't do much, but he's won 4 times in 8 events on the Live event, on the Live Tour. And sure, they're small fields, but they still have to beat John Rahm and Brooks Koepka and win and play great golf. And he's playing great golf, and his time could be due. But I'm like you. I think John Rahm.
I'm on the Rahm train.
On the Rahm. Well, he's a strong man. You're going to need a bit of bomb and gouge. You whack it out there in the rough. You've got to need the strength and the power. So Sepp Striker's like that as well. Similar sort of build. But and you're going to absolutely have to putt the dots off it because it's big undulating greens and they're quick as. And Johnny Rahm can do that, and he's about $13. So you can apply the same to Bryson DeChambeau and Rory McIlroy around about the $10 mark themselves. And they're awesome at golf, and they wouldn't surprise. But have a bit of Rambo. Bit of ramen.
Can I ask, going back to the magazine, Brian, hold it up for the YouTube watchers?
Yes.
So Golf Australia, how do you land on the front page?
Well,
each and every month.
When Rory decides he's coming out for the Australian Open, he gets a Guernsey there.
He picks himself?
Yeah, so that's exciting for us. We often go the top Aussie chance coming up.
Yep.
So we've had Min Woo recently, Jason Day recently in the majors. It's very topical. I mean, anything like this, the more famous, high-profile sells.
Yep.
So when Tiger was in his pomp, this magazine, Tiger was on every week.
Wow.
Once a month doing
Even when he
different
had
things.
his indiscretions?
Well, he was still famous. He was still he's still a famous man.
Matty, tell me this. How many golfers are there in Australia who play members of... Do you know this?
Oh, not of members. But Golf Australia put out a stat that there are 3.5 million people a year in Australia play some form of golf, like hit a ball off a range or putt or are members of courses.
Are we seeing an increase in the female participation?
Yes, we're seeing an increase in all levels of participation since COVID. There's the spike still going. For instance, I'm up at Long Reef Golf Club. So Northern Beaches, the Northern Beaches of Sydney, poking out onto the headland there into the
Almost
water.
as good as the eastern suburbs. Almost.
Well, St Michael's, which I played a lot down there, and
That's
the
a
coast.
Bruce. That's a Bruce.
Is it?
Yeah, that's a Bruce. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't dance.
I did one the other week too with Rat Rogers. Anyway,
Oh.
there's another one. There's another Bruce.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
another
that's the Bruce. You got to the Bruce.
You can't
By the way, so there was a caller who rang through on Vossi's program on Monday, and they said, or Tuesday, how'd you spend your long weekend? And he said, it was my turn to organise the golf trip, and I took the boys out to Blaney, and it was 1 degree.
Yuck.
So that's where you've got to get in contact with Classic Capital Golf Tours. Takes the worry and hassle out of your next New South Wales golf tour and takes the opportunity of your mates to bag you when you take them to somewhere in the middle of winter that's 1 degrees.
Well, you need a warren. Every golf tour needs a warren, and Warren McCord of Classic Capital Golf Tours is your warren.
Yep.
You know, any complaints, call Warren.
Yeah.
Are you feeling that the introduction of Liv and all the dosh has basically, like the Dusty Johnsons and the Cam Smith, they're just rat's ass now?
Well, you can make a case. You know,
They don't have that hunger.
Well, this is the thing. So it's horses for courses. Something, you know, Bryson DeChambeau has got better. Like Bryson DeChambeau won the US Open last year, has been runner-up the PGA 2 years in a row. So it hasn't affected Bryson DeChambeau. You could argue it hasn't now affected John Rahm, who's come back into a lot of form. There's an argument though that Cam Smith, he's the one. There's probably a question to be asked about where he's coming from. I spoke to his coach recently, and he says it's just a sort of a technical issue that with his form. He would say that. But, yeah, so Cam Smith is the one. Dustin Johnson's fallen off the planet.
Yeah.
Dustin Johnson's almost certainly just said, oh, well, now I'm super rich. I'm going to
And have you seen
do
his
whatever.
wife? Have you seen his wife?
She's a good sort, is it?
Oh, yeah.
Paulina?
Paulina Gretzky.
Yeah, that's correct.
Oh, that's right.
Son of the chosen one.
That's right.
Daughter of the
Daughter.
chosen one. Sorry,
Yeah.
not son. Or it could be. You never know.
Yeah.
Could have made that team, Brian.
Could have.
Yesterday's wacky team.
All right, can we just make it clear here who we having our hard-earned?
We've got $100 to spend. Matty Cleary, how are you spending it?
Oh, throw, put 50 on Johnny Rahm at $13. That's pretty sexy. Throw another 25 on Sepp Straka.
50.
Oh, that's sexy, Brian.
At coming up 50 to 1.
25, I'm too sexy.
And I've said, I put another 25 on Joaquin Niemann there. He'll be $36 or something like that.
We got the number one hack, and he said it's special for SEN listeners. US Open winner.
Justin Rose, 125. Well, can I?
Should we
Justin
throw
Rose
Liv
is
in there?
awesome. Throw in, well, yeah.
Can we throw $12 on him?
Put $10, $12.5 on him.
12.5.
Yeah.
Well, I've got $12.5 to throw on another
Yep,
bloke.
okay.
Who is a genuine Prince of Penzance boss. He's Justin Rose.
History at Flemington.
So listen to this bloke. So he's an American. So 8 out of 10 have won in America. He was pretty good in the PGA Championship. He was pretty good in the Memorial Championship. He chased Ryan Fox home in the Canadian Open last week.
How good
Should
was
have won
that?
it.
Is this Burnsy?
Crash end.
No, he came second in the
Burns?
playoff.
Oh, sorry,
this bloke's an American who Ryan Fox eventually won, but this bloke needed to birdie 18, went for it, just fell out of it.
Give it to me, Matty. Give it
Where
to
is
me.
he?
Give it to me.
He famously came second to Cameron Smith in the 22 Open Championship at St Andrews. 121 for
Hit me.
Cameron Young of the United States.
Okay, Youngie.
A little beardy-looking fella. Doesn't look much.
Little
but
chubby fella.
Little chubby-looking,
Yeah.
little JD Vance-looking sort
I
of
do
bloke.
like him.
Yeah.
LBCF, little bit of chubby fella. We like that.
$12.50 on Fatso.
Yeah.
Fatso's
Well, put it
getting-
on Justin Rose, what old mate the hacky says.
Okay.
Number one
So
hack.
can I tell you what we've done, Matty? And this is sort of entering. You can see how this ends, Brian. So what we've done, right? We're getting a little bit too clever here. We've got to pick a path book. So we've got 2 multis. One of them is the Cronulla Sharks centre has scored every single left centre has scored every single week bar one. Whoever was playing left centre, right?
Right.
So on the Sportsbet app, we're throwing this up there.
Yeah.
So-
Hiroti.
So Malweni Hiroti. Now, if he scores, we've got a ticket on who, Brian?
Russell is going to Porker Henley.
Okay, so that's what happens. If Sione Katoa attacking that inexperienced left edge of the Dragon scores, we've got a ticker on Seb Straka. If they
The
both
great ball
score,
Straka.
Matty, we've got 2 tickets alive in the US Open. Do you like that or not?
That's very sexy, as they say.
Sexy.
Yeah. Good on you.
Oh, you keep saying sexy.
I don't know. It's the thing that's coming to my mind.
Is it?
Yeah, no.
Where have you been earlier today?
North Sydney, mate.
So we're happy to go. We're definitely going the ramen.
Yeah, he's the
Rambo?
Yeah, I mean, yes. Look, bloody Scheffler's the
He's too short.
It's too short. And it's something of a lottery, and you need to be strong. Get it out of that long rough, and he's that, and he's got beautiful touch as well.
Is it illegal in golf to sledge each other?
I wouldn't say it's illegal, but it's probably against the etiquette of the,
Yeah.
of the gentlemanly nature
Has
of
there
the game.
been any professional golfers who are known for heckling and?
No,
No.
not so much. No. There's a golfer called Norman Von Nyder, famous Aussie one, who got in a fight once. He fought a PGA Tour player who
On the course?
Yeah, well, he accused after they'd finished their round, he wouldn't sign his card because he accused him of cheating.
Wasn't VJ Singh?
Hey, Matty, we're going to go, and you have been sexy today with your comprehensive. But I want to ask you this really quickly. So my young blokes have recently become members at a club.
Nice.
And I don't know who the A grade, it's probably me in the end. This old bloke, it's their very first day of playing as members at the club,
Here we go.
and they haven't got a sand bucket.
Righto.
And this old bloke's ripped into them.
Yeah. No.
So are they the A grade? Am I the A grade for not telling them that? Or
That bloke's the A grade.
Yeah,
oh, mate, you could just say, mate, haven't seen you around. I can see you're a new member.
Kid.
Just make sure, boys, next time you got the sand bucket.
Mate, don't do that.
Bloody Dean Ritchie. He just everywhere he goes, he calls. He's definitely sexy. Though. Do you like Dean Ritchie? Would you call him sexy? No. No.
Eddie, your Raiders are sexy too.
Yeah.
Mate, our show's over. We have to say
Oh,
goodbye.
that's too bad.
You're still here? We'll see more on the Joel and Fletch socials and catch us live on SEN Radio. Because if you don't, you're an A grade. But if you do, you're the absolute Mickey.